Hi, this video will help you understand how to prepare for and take exams in this course. Your exams in this course are all timed, proctored exams. For my developmental courses, you'll have 3 exams. Each exam will cover lessons prior to it. And then for the math designated courses, you will have 3 exams, a pretest, and a comprehensive final. So just like the other classes, the 3 exams will cover material that come in the lessons prior to them. The pretest will cover prerequisite material, and the comprehensive final will cover all of the sections. For all of the exams except for the pretests, you will need to have a proctor set up. Okay. If you're in the Fairbanks area, you're going to need to take your exams down at the Center for Distance Education. You can view the location and hours of operation for this under the CDE info link in your Blackboard site. So if you go into there, down at the bottom, you will see the contact information, hours of operation, and their phone, both their local and their 1-800 number, as well as an email address. Okay. If you're in Fairbanks, you will need to go down there, bring in a picture ID, let them know which course you are in, not just the course number, but also the instructor name. So, for example, if you're in 060, tell them you're in the 060 online course with instructor Laughlin. For the Math 200, same thing. Let them know whether you're semester-based or year-long. That way, they'll give you the correct exam. When you get your exam, look at the top of the page and make sure you have the correct exam for your course. Okay. If you're not in Fairbanks, you're going to need to set up a proctor. A proctor can be any faculty or staff at a local educational institution or a library, or a government or community official. Okay. Friends and relatives are not acceptable as proctors. Okay. All proctors must be approved by CDE. If you don't know of anyone, there is a list of approved proctors already on their site. So under the exams, you can go to the proctor list. And here is a list of people who have proctored around the state for other students and who have said that they would be willing to proctor again. Okay. Basically, you just need to contact the person and see if they're willing to proctor for you. Before you do that, I recommend you go into our exam folder. So back in Blackboard, go under Assignments, or you can go into the calendar. Doesn't matter which. Look at the dates for your exams. So for example, in this course, this is for my Math 200. Your pretest is there. Exam 1, February 22nd. Exam 2, March 28th, etc. Look at those dates, write them down. Make sure whoever you are asking to proctor can actually sit for those days and proctor the exam. If you select a proctor and they go out of town in the middle of the semester, your deadline is not going to be postponed just because your proctor can't be there. You need to make sure your proctor can sit for all of your exams ahead of time. And if you need to, set up a backup. Get both of them approved before you go on with the course. Okay. Now, as I said, their list here includes where they're at, their name, email, and contact information. So you can contact these people and see if they would be willing to proctor for you. Once you have your proctor, write down their name, email, and phone number. Okay, this information needs to be given to me before January 27th. Okay, this is part of your Lesson 1 assignment and part of your introduction quiz. If you are in Fairbanks, you need to know the address for the Center for Distance Education and the contact information, meaning the phone number and email, as well as their hours of operation. That's the information you're going to need to give me on the introduction quiz and the first lesson. Okay. If I have not received your proctor information by January 27th, you will be in danger of being dropped from this class. Without a proctor set up, you are going to miss the exams, and this is not a process that can be done overnight. So these need to be set up ahead of time. Okay. Now that you've got your proctor information, let's move on to the exams. Okay. So as I said, inside of your assignment folder, there are exam subfolders for each of the exams in the course. If you go into them, and I should pause here, this looks a little different for the developmental classes. For the developmental classes, you just have one folder for each exam. You do not have two of them. Okay, but in that folder, it'll look very similar to this one that I'm opening up here. Okay, inside each folder, the first thing you'll see is some information about the exam. So what is the exam like? It'll tell you what you're allowed on it. I should start by saying pretty much all of the exams are closed book, closed note, and paper-based. Okay, the exception to that is the pre-test for the Math 200 and the Math 262. Okay, it will tell you how many questions are going to be on there, and whether or not you're going to be allowed to use calculators. It will also tell you how long you will have to complete the exam. Okay. A little further down, it'll tell you which lessons you need to have completed prior to taking the exam. Okay. And then again, some information about, what you need to do. Okay. A little further down, you'll see reading preparation and practice. Both of these are from the textbook. So going into the textbook, here are some problems I've picked out and the chapters that you need to review before you move on. A little further down, you'll see study guide for more practice. Basically here, I'll give you an example of a practice test. This will be in PDF format so you can print it off. And I would recommend sitting down to take it just like you would the regular exam. So again, up at the top, it'll tell you how long you'll have, what materials you'll be allowed. Sit down and try and take the practice test the same way. Once you complete it, the solutions are there. Go ahead and download those, print those off, and check your solutions. See what you missed, see what you need to review a little bit more, go back and, study where you need to. Okay. For students not in Fairbanks, exams will be sent to your proctor the first day you're allowed to take the exam. Some of them will get it the night before. Once you take the exam, it's your responsibility to remind your proctor to return the exams to me by email. Exams are due by 5 p.m. on their due date. So for example, in this case, exam 1 for those Math 200 students would be due February 22nd by 5 p.m. That means I either need to have it in my hand or in my email by 5 p.m. on that day. Any exam returned after that time is considered late and will be docked 10% per day. Okay. After 1 week, late exams will not be accepted. This is for 2 reasons. The first is I'd like to get your exam back to you in a decent amount of time so that you can use it to prepare for the next lessons. Math is comprehensive. It builds upon the stuff you've already learned. Okay, so if you don't get your exam turned in at a specific date, you're not going to get it back in a decent amount of time. You're probably not going to finish the course on time. The other reason I do this is because I'd like to be able to give you the solution so you can see what you did wrong. I'd like to be able to grade it and get it back to you so you can look over that graded exam. Okay, and in order to do that, these need to be done in a timely manner. Okay, all of your exam dates are posted in a number of places. They are under the assignments tab in your assignment folders. So again, you'll see the due date for each of the exams listed in that exam folder. They're listed on the schedule. So in the week-by-week schedule that's listed there, the snapshot, it shows when you need to complete them. On the day-by-day schedule, it shows you when it's going to be available as well as when it's due. You'll also find this, the exam dates under course information, listed in the syllabus, in the checklist, and in the welcome letter. You will also find it on the dashboard under the calendar. You'll also see it in the week by week announcements. So we'll tell you the week before when you should be preparing for them, but also that week it'll tell you when they're due. Okay, so your due dates for your exams are all over the place. You should definitely know when you should be taking your exams and when they need to be submitted. Okay. Once your exam's been graded, you will receive a copy of your graded exam in the gradebook. So if you go into the My Grades, you'll be able to see a score in there. You'll click on the score, and then you can pull up the file that has your graded exam. Okay. For the Math 200 and Math 262, part of your exam grade is the exam review, which is that second folder that you'll see in your assignments tab. Okay. You need to go through your exam, rework all of your missed problems, make sure you understand why you missed them, and then complete the Exam 1 evaluation, which basically is questions about the exam and giving you some feedback on that. Okay. If you still have questions after reviewing your exam, please ask. Do not try to move on if you don't understand something. It'll make the later material more difficult if you're not prepared. Okay. Okay. At this time, I would recommend writing down your exam dates, see when they're available, when you'll be able to take them. Go ahead and make up a schedule. Contact a proctor. If you already have one in mind, great. If not, go back to that proctor list, get the proctor information, and then go ahead and make sure you write that down. And when you get into your introduction quiz, once you're finished watching all of your videos, make sure you enter that information in there. Okay. Again, if you have any questions, please ask.